If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths, and sometimes heights, to ensure the power is always flowing. Which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It'll come. There you go. Yeah! All right, you scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, all across the fruited plain, you know what time it is. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. And we begin the show, of course, because there's tragic news in Minneapolis. Another shooting in the region, in Tim Walz's region. This is not to say this is about him. It just, again, we are back here. National news coming out of his backyard. This time it involves children. This time it involves another Catholic establishment, another Catholic school. And that's a problem. It's a problem for a lot of people, especially those of the Catholic faith. But it's also a problem, from what we're learning now, for a lot of anti-Christian and anti-Catholic folks. No matter how it is spun, you know what's going to happen. Everyone will go to war, verbally that is, about who is responsible. I'm not going to go in that because it's easy. That's easy pickings. We don't do easy pickings here. We don't do low-hanging fruit. I could do that all day. Easy stuff. But I do want to talk about this because I was going to do a monologue about law enforcement in the beginning of the show anyway, based upon our conversation yesterday, our interview with Brian Shackman, talking about the arrest at Newington with ICE agents. Also, we also have that backdrop of violence that's happening in the inner city with the National Guard being in D.C. and Democrats and Republicans going back and forth about violence in the inner city and how we need to deal with it. All of that and the shooting today has to do with law enforcement. How? Easy. We need law enforcement at our schools. We do. They are soft targets. They have been soft targets for a long time, since the days of Columbine. And this nonsense about we don't want our schools looking like prisons is a joke. It is a joke. It is based in hatred, if not apathy for the police department or law enforcement overall. Let's explain. And we'll get into the shooting. We're getting more details about that. I watched what I believe is supposed to be a manifesto video of the shooter who has been identified. We'll get into that as well. As more details come up, we'll talk about it. I don't like jumping on the bandwagon because everybody else is doing it. I'll let them sort it out afterwards. I want to talk about Connecticut specifically. Why, after Sandy Hook, do we not have police officers at the schools? Everyone says that it has everything to do with having them look like prisons. But what's more important, the aesthetics or the lives of children? I've got to ask myself a question every day about that. And I keep coming up with, I don't care about the aesthetics. I really, really don't like looking at the news, and neither do you. Like looking at the news, hearing a story about a 10-year-old fighting for their life, or a 10-year-old or a 6-year-old dead by some whack job going in there with an AK-47 or an AR-15 or even a handgun. Hell, even if it's a musket, who cares? Nobody likes the outcome. This isn't about the gun. This is about the violence and the individuals who carry them out. Oh, and you can bring up the Uvalde thing, but let's be honest. What always happens outside of Uvalde when the police arrive? Even in the case of Sandy Hook, what always happens when you have a mall shooting, a mass shooting? What always happens? These individuals in New York City, at the so-called NFL shooting that happened on the wrong floor. What did the shooter do when law enforcement arrived? They take their own lives. When somebody else shows up with a gun, immediately they become desperate. And the thing that they should have done from the beginning in that situation, just harm themselves. They wait until after they've harmed everyone else in a soft target, and then when the police arrive, good guys with guns, they off themselves. Which means what? If we're looking at this righteously, perhaps no damage comes to anyone if law enforcement is there. The deterrent is there. What are you going to invent another law? When are you folks going to realize that laws don't stop crimes? They punish them. Do I have to keep repeating that? I feel like I'm the only one who's ever said that out loud. They don't prevent crimes. They punish them. It is not a deterrent. Even when I watched Donald Trump yesterday talking about we need to have the death penalty in D.C., do you think that's going to keep these savages from killing each other? No. They already think their lives are a death sentence. It's not a deterrent. But I want to get back to Connecticut and its apathy with law enforcement. It's because of what law enforcement represents. They say here in Connecticut that they are worried about guns. Why don't they give stiffer penalties to people who commit gun crimes? Why don't they carry that out? They're the ones who believe that laws are a deterrent. Why not make a law that makes it mandatory that if you are caught using a gun or having a gun, that there is a mandatory penalty for it that has a lot of years on it? You're a gangbanger with a gun, 15 years. Boom, that's it. Make it happen. And if they commit an act with it, tack on the gun charge as well. Get them for murder and then get them for 15 years for having a gun. Assault with a gun, give them 10 years plus another 15 for having the gun in the first place. Make sure you put these animals away for a long time. But they won't. Why? They refuse to give them those penalties. They just release them. And what is law enforcement supposed to do when they see the same crud that they just locked up? The same animal that they just grabbed off the street and put into the system, walking out the next day. Whose face is getting slapped there? Law enforcement. Who feels dejected? Who feels disrespected? The police officer. And for what? Why is he disrespected? And why is the criminal given a free pass to act in any way he wants to? Is this for votes? That animal doesn't vote. You can barely get him to pick up his phone to vote for American Idol. What, to get in their good graces? What about the police force? Don't you need them in your good graces? No, they don't care. Why? Because to them, the police officer is the oppressor. The police officer is the bad guy. People are wondering how the police force has switched its...
If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths and sometimes heights to ensure the power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Affiliations from Democrats, who used to always give them the perks, always give them the advances, always make sure that their pensions were higher. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, they switched teams and started rooting for Republicans. Why? Because they cared about their lives. At the end of the day, who cares if you've got a pension if you're not going to be alive to actually spend it? They realize the error of their ways. And now that they don't have the support of the police force, they've thrown them aside. When they started casting them as some sort of oppressive force against the minorities in this country, started maligning them, humiliating them, allowing savages to treat them in any which way they wanted to. The way they encouraged people to show them no respect, threaten their funding, threaten their abilities to do their jobs. You're going to sit up here and tell me that they have respect for law enforcement? Hell no, they don't. You can look no further than what we saw in Newington and the reaction to it. Because ICE is law enforcement. Enforcement of the law is the antithesis of the Democrat Party. You people say that you care about mental health. Surely the school shooters have a mental health problem. In Connecticut, how have you shown that you concern yourself with the shooter's mental health? Well, I say look no further than Tyree Smith. Remember him? The cannibal who ate off the face of his victim? How did you guys treat his case? Man was supposed to serve 60 years in prison. You were so concerned about his mental health, you couldn't wait to set that man free. You concern yourself with mental health? Has anybody had a conversation with former Hartford police officer Jill Giddick? That woman almost had her head clean sliced off. The woman had to fight to get a criminal protective order. You're concerned about mental health. If there is a way to demonize law enforcement in this country, or better yet in this state, you guys have taken every shot at it. Every shot at it. And you would sooner put handcuffs on them than on the criminals in this state. The part that seems to baffle me is the mayor of Minneapolis. Just to show you how misguided this whole thing is. We played the audio at the top of the hour with John Silva, but I got to play it again because I have to respond to it. Here he is, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. I've got one question to this.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance.
I got one question, Mayor Frey. Who in the hell are you yelling at? Who in the hell are you chastising? It ain't the shooter. You are at a press conference for the shooting at a school, and you are yelling at the people behind the television cameras, talking about their thoughts and prayers as if they have done something wrong. They have nothing to do with the death or the injury of those children. The shooter does. Do you get it? And this goes to everybody, from the Chuck Schumers to the Chris Murphys to the Dick Blumenthals to the Governor Lamonts of the world. What are you shouting at us for? We didn't pull the trigger. Why would we be chastised for our thoughts and prayers? What have we got to do with the villain, the savage, the evil? What do we have to do with it? You think we're sitting idly by? No, stupid, we're ducking. Our children are ducking. Our children are in the classroom doing active shooter drills because you won't give them the tools, the means to keep them safe. You're sitting idly by waiting for another opportunity for you to blame guns while you use them as guinea pigs. Look, I am not of the belief that you want these children hurt, but you are not in the interest of protecting them because you'd have done it already. It isn't difficult. The evidence is there. A police deterrent is good for these children. A relationship with these police are good for children, especially in the inner city. You guys talk a good game about community policing, where a large part of the community starts in the classroom, where kids go to school with their friends and neighbors, where parents go and show up to pick up their kids after school. That's all a part of the community, my friend. Get it together. And please stop lecturing us about thoughts and prayers, because that's all we've got. Outside of that, you're ignoring our pleas to protect our children. Don't tell us what to do. It's your job to do what we tell you to do. And you've ignored that at every turn. Spare me, Mayor Frey. Spare me. And all the rest of you. Nobody's listening anymore. When we come back, more details on this animal. The guns. And let's see how everybody else reacts thereafter. We got more news and more views. Don't go anywhere. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
And we're back, Reese on the radio, WTIC News Talk 1080. And we, of course, are still talking about the shooting at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. This incident is going to put a lot of attention on transgenderism in our country. And I'm just warning you now. because the days of everyone being silent or the political correctness or the quietness that used to be on this subject is no more. Now, I'm laying this out for you for a reason. The Covington School, I think it was, a couple of years back, where 3 students and 3 faculty members were shot and killed by a girl who was transitioning to a boy, and the manifesto had to be kept under wrap. The police department didn't want to release it, even though it took a matter of days for us to get the manifesto of the shooting at the Taubes supermarket in Buffalo. They didn't want it out. Why? Because that manifesto was saying some things about the individual being transgender and their hatred for Catholics, Catholicism, and Christianity. And that was going to look bad on the administration because it had a reputation of going after people of the Catholic faith while protecting other groups. Need I get into the whole anti-Semitism of the college campus riots in the past couple of years? But a new day is here where Donald Trump is the president of the United States. And the first thing that's going to be on his desk is the fact that the shooter had, according to reports and according to every video I've seen so far, things that said, kill Donald Trump, and to protect pride and transgenderism and all of that other, hoopla. We also know about the suicide case that Project Veritas exposed for us all right here in Connecticut. Elvira Said trying to get justice for her daughter, who ended up taking her own life because she was suffering from mental illness. So bad in her transitioning, she took her own life. And what do you think is going to happen? Donald Trump is going to address it so that everyone else in America can respond to it. And what do you think they're going to defend, folks? Huh? What do you think they're going to defend? You hear a lot of people saying, don't do it, it's a trap. Don't do it, folks, it's a trap. What do you think Democrats are going to do? Fall for it. They'll fall right into the trap. Donald Trump will say something along these lines. If there truly is a mental health issue going on in the transgender community that's associated with gender dysphoria, we should address it so that we do not have episodes like these in the future, where people are harming themselves or attacking people for their religious beliefs. Now, Democrats can respond to that in a positive way. You're right. We should address this. Or they will see it as a demonization of transgender folks. Remember, this happened in Minneapolis. Let me give you a couple examples. The Minnesota governor, Tim Walz, quoted as saying, "We are a safe haven for the transgender individual." The Minnesota Attorney General, Keith Ellison, said, we're suing Trump for gender-affirming care. The Minnesota Lieutenant Governor, I don't even know who that person is. When our children tell us who they are, it's our jobs as grown-ups to believe them. So Donald Trump will say we need to investigate this further because people are dying. And if he says something as like general as that, people are dying, they'll phrase it any way to want. What are they saying? Are they killing people? Why? Because of this individual? But they'll lose it. They'll lose it. And they'll lose that argument too. They'll call it the demonization of transgender folks. They need that fight. And Donald Trump will grab the velvet rope and escort them into this discussion like it's the VIP section of politics. And they will lose at the bar. They always do. This will be that discussion. My wife tells me because I made her do the one thing that I would never ask any of you to do, and that's watch CNN. We already have the identity of the shooter. CNN refuses to name they, them. Oh, no, I wasn't kidding. They, them is what they referred to the shooter as, but they don't have an identity. Even though it's already been reported who the individual is. Did you want to say something? Get on the mic. Go on the microphone. There's no reason. Everybody knows who you are. No, you're not going to be on camera, unfortunately. Go ahead.
So Tim Walz is set to speak, and I just wanted to point out, isn't there a speech of him talking about how he's friends with all of these
school shooters?
Mass shooters? Yeah, so he's
Oh.
about one of his friends.
That's okay. Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so yeah, Tim Walz is about to speak, and he's going to have to talk about one of his friends, this transgender school shooter.
That was during the debate. Don't give him.
I'm just saying, but he said himself that these are all his friends. So,
all right,
I'll be waiting to hear what he has to say to his buddy.
Okay, so we're about to find out what Tim Walz is going to say about this. But the bottom line is, that's going to be the new discussion. The new discussion is going to be how Donald Trump and how the administration is demonizing transgender folks. A discussion that he is willing to have. And we should have. Because our very own William Tong will more than likely join that fight. In fact, perhaps somebody in the media should be getting a response from William Tong and his lack of response to Elvira Said on the matter, where somebody ended up harming themselves because of the influence of individuals who we know are breaking the law. William Tong has gone above and beyond to protect gender-affirming care, which has only led to depression and suicide for many of those kids in the transgender community. He should be the first person made to answer for today. Because the word's going to get out, and there's no way of stopping it. This is not the Biden administration. When Trump gets word that the individual was of the transgender community and they had an animus towards the Catholic community, he is going to respond to it. And therefore, everyone else will have to either act like he never said it or respond as they always do in a knee-jerk reaction. I expect the latter. Do you? Let's go to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. John's on the car. How are you, John?
Hey, well, Eric, I've got a few different perspectives than you over this latest shooting. I mean, I agree with you most of the time, but let me share my perspective.
Sure.
After the shooting. I remember in high school, I used to go to high school. You know, there was no shootings of this capacity. Mm-hmm. You had the ability to buy guns. Not me. I never owned a gun, and if I have to own a gun, I'm moving out of the country. But besides that, my father was a military Navy guy, and he was a SEAL, and he never wanted a gun in his house. And he said the same statement I learned off of my father. And the fact is guns don't kill people, but people kill people. And the fact is that we have a gun problem in this country. And I agree with you that it's mental illness. Most of these shootings that occurred in schools are for white suburban kids. You said we need cops in the elementary schools and the high schools. You look at the data, you don't see blacks shooting blacks, Hispanics shooting Hispanics. Take your own city, for example, Hartford. I don't think that we had a murder like Newtown, Connecticut, or the one down in Texas, or like the one out in Columbine. Fact of the matter is that we got a problem with mental illness. You call the guy a crazy nutcase. Well, we can't address it because mental health costs a fortune. I just finished watching a documentary on how much psychiatrists and psychologists and mental health experts charged in New York City $400 or $500.
Mm-hmm.
And these teenagers and these elementary school kids are yelling for guidance from us, the adults, and we can't supply them with this because it's so damn expensive. Mm-hmm. So if you remove the guns, we can work on the mental health. But if you got the guns, guns don't kill people. People kill people. It's more apt that they can kill more people with a gun, an R-15 or just a pistol, than if they had a knife or a baseball bat. That's the argument.
Let me respond to you, John. I'm going to respond a little bit, but I'm going to hold you over for a little intermission, and then I want to talk to you a little bit further because you make a lot of great points here. Obviously, mental health is expensive in so many cases. We have some institutions, but you do have to pay for them, and sometimes Medicaid and other things don't cover that, and it would probably bankrupt many states if they were to give mental health treatment to a lot of the people who need it. But I want to respond only slightly, and when we come back, I will, because you said something related to shootings like Newtown and Columbine, as we don't see them in the inner city. Like something that happened in Newtown would never, ever happen in Hartford Public. You do make a point. You're 100% right on that. But there also is something that you're missing there. And I don't want it to be lost in this conversation. I want your response to my response when we get back. So stay on hold. We'll take a break. We'll come back. This is a very interesting point of view that John has, but I want to address it still. So stand by. We'll be back. More news, more views than you can shake a stick at. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. I want to go back to John in the car. John, by the way, in a great point that you made about, the shootings that we have, like places in Newtown and Columbine, those things happen in those vacuums. You have Marjorie Stone, which was in Florida, that took place and pretty much gave rise to David Hogg. But there's something that you're missing here, and I want your response to it. It's because I do believe that proximity and behaviors are very important in this context. We can name Columbine, Newtown, Marjorie Stoneman, even the Pulse nightclub. We can name these events because they happen in the way that some tragedies do, sparingly. The reason why we never talk about the mass shootings in black and brown communities is because they're every day. We got 2 men who just got shot and killed in a drive-by in New Haven. 2 young men. Nobody even knows their name. They just found out their names this morning. And again, it is happened so rapidly, no one remembers the name. There are so many people who die. You had 1 year in Chicago. In fact, the average death count in Chicago due to drive-bys and violence is the upwards of 600 people a year. There are only 365 days in a year. So we're looking at an average of almost 2 a day. So when we talk about the gun violence, people always talk about the access to guns. The only preventative measures we have are putting laws that law abiders will abide by, or people who take guns from law-abiding citizens like kids, teenagers, and things like that. But when we talk about the inner city, their access to guns, they're being sold on the street. Somebody said the other day, in fact, one of my listeners said, we've got these, who brings the guns into the communities? I'm like, who cares if they're being brought into the community? You don't buy an ice cream cone just because the ice cream man drives by. You have to want the ice cream cone. You have to go out and purchase the ice cream cone. Are these people have a commitment to grabbing a gun and shooting their neighbors? So there's a difference here. Yes or no?
I agree with you. I was going to raise that point after I heard your point. Yeah, I know. There's an absence of reporting deaths amongst African Americans or black men in inner cities. But I'll stick to the premise that the data says that Caucasian, middle-income Caucasians are the majority of the killings of youth in school systems.
Yes.
That's the statistical point. I've been an educator for 41 years. I think I can compare the old America to the modern America. We are losing it as a nation, not only in that perspective, but we have students coming to the class. You said they should be protected by the adults. Since when does a grammar school kid have to worry about not returning home?
I know.
Since when do they have to be paranoid as to saying bye to their moms?
But John,
Since
let me.
hold on, Eric.
I want no, because there's something that you said that I want to get to. Finish your point. Finish your point.
Another point is they should be learning reading, writing, and arithmetic, or not all this transsexual garbage in kindergarten and first grade. We agree on a lot of points, but we are losing it, Eric.
Well, okay, it's Reese, by the way, not Eric. It's Reese.
I mean, I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, I don't want you to go off the beaten path. You're right about learning reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yeah,
but if I'm listening to you, John, it sounds like, look, and what you're expressing is absolutely real, and I agree with you. We have a rising tide of these events that are happening in these schools, whether it's for political reasons, transgender, whatever the case may be, social reasons. My question to you is this. If we're to take your word for it that we're seeing a rising rate of these incidents happening in our schools, and we know that they're going to happen there, then it would be righteous for you to agree with me with saying that we need to put law enforcement at these front doors as preventative measures.
No brainer.
All right.
100%. But when you went to school, I don't know how old you are. You're
56.
All right, 56. Well, I'm 71.
Okay.
And I was in school before you were. I went to a foreign school. I came to the United States.
You were in college before I was born, I think.
Yeah, and let me put it this way. I didn't have to fear guns. I didn't have to. School was a pleasure going to. Now there's metal detectors in inner city schools and suburban schools.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? We have turned schools into a paranoid mess hall. It's a shame that kids can't go there for a good education. Connecticut's ranked second in education nationally. That's nationally, not internationally. We're at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
And if we can't educate inner city kids, we're in big trouble. But if we can't educate suburban kids, we're in bigger trouble. In big trouble. We are not doing the job of education. And I'm an educator. I've seen education over 41 years. I have a right to say that we're going down the tube.
Listen to me.
Losing it.
You are 100% right, and I'm glad that you agree with me on the protecting our kids with law enforcement. It's got to be done now, because if you're right, if the rising tide of this is going on everywhere, we've got to combat it by getting law enforcement involved so we can stop it before.
And as you said, inner city kids can buy weapons. They can make 3D guns. Hey. They're not the law-abiding ones. The criminals are the criminals. White,
that's right.
Black, whatever they
are. And got to start shooting them as such.
And they'll override that.
Yeah,
That's why I think if we could put a stop to the initial issuance of guns in this country, and then we could attack the mental health. Maybe that's of course we have to do, because the minute I have to buy a gun to protect myself, I'm out of here.
I hear you, John. Thank you. I'm sorry. I got to go to the top of the hour. News with John Silva, but very good discussion. We'll extend it, and we won't do headlines when we come back. So we'll take some more phone calls who are on the line now. Let's go to news with John Silva. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. We'll get to headlines in a little bit. We got the phones ringing up, so we'll get to that. This is again one of those things that we have to get into a discussion early. Sometimes the program doesn't go as planned, but that's okay. I want to play this because you might remember last year during the Senate election with Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy was asked about school officers, school resource officers. And Chris Murphy said during that debate that he never called for the end of SROs.
Does removing a trained armed officer make schools safer? You have 90 seconds.
Well, I actually haven't introduced legislation to remove school resource officers. I've introduced legislation to direct federal funding towards social workers and psychologists that I think are very badly needed. I actually think it should be up to every individual school district as to whether they have armed officers, and I support their decisions when they choose to bring those security personnel into the schools.
But he was lying, ladies and gentlemen.
All new for you tonight at 11. Police shouldn't be in schools. That thought coming from Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy.
Now, he, along with 3 other lawmakers, are introducing a bill that would pave the way to get officers out of schools. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matthew
Not
Campbell
to
takes
get
it
a
close.
few out, not to get some out, to get them all out. The guy who's pretty much fashioned his career around Newtown wants nothing to do with having officers there to protect them. Immediately assuming that the school resource officer is there in some way to impede on the students instead of protect them. And that's the way it's looked upon, right? The police officer, he'll be in the inner city. There will be black kids there and brown kids there. And we all secretly know, wink, wink, nod, nod, that blacks and browns just can't help themselves from committing crimes. So we can't have a police officer there waiting for them to do it. We want to be able to, act like none of it happened and then charge them with the lesser of crimes so they can go out and commit it again. We can't have police officers in the inner city. They're the bad guys. So, look, I say that half tongue-in-cheek, but you get the idea. That's what this whole argument is. Law enforcement is the oppressor enforcing the law. And what do we know about these folks who will not protect these kids? They don't like the law. They hate it. Hell, they hate the Constitution. Every day there's an effort to uproot it, change it around, dismiss it. Look at them. They want to stack the Supreme Court, and then when the Supreme Court doesn't rule in their favor, they want to just ignore the Supreme Court. They have absolutely no concept. I mean, it's who they are. The law is a deterrent to them. And they pick and choose when they wish to abide by it. Let's go to my good friend, Simsbury Joe. We haven't heard from him in a while. How are we doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Missed you, buddy.
Same here. So right back at you. Unfortunately, when you go visit a communist country, they don't allow you to have access to listen to your program. So for those people that are wondering what I'm talking about, in Canada, even with a VPN, where I was on vacation, you cannot access WTIC.
Wow.
They block it.
We're on the banned list in Canada.
Yep.
All right, Roland, you know what new promotion we need to work on.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm very wired up. I'm not sure that's the right term. I'm fired up about this whole trans thing. I've called you and I called Tom before many times talking about very strong opinions on this whole trans violence thing.
Yeah.
We talked about the Zizians before, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But let me give an example for people here. See if I can get my point across. I'm not saying this, but if I said to you in the audience that I think that this country would be better off if we just euthanized everyone over 75, what would people think about me? I think that I'm nuts. I'm delusional. I need a lot of help.
Some people might agree with you, Simsbury. Some people might.
Yep. But I think they listen to NPR.
Right.
Not this station. So I think that most people would say that. So what is the difference between me saying that and wanting to remove my body parts?
Yeah.
We have to start recognizing that trans people, not the ones who are just playing the game of, I want to be a boy, I want to,
be a girl, sure,
and have not taken any action towards it. Those that really want to and have taken any kind of action towards a process of removing their body parts are delusional. And we need to, as a society, make a decision about getting these people to get the help that they need, not the affirming care that they need,
right?
The help that they need. When I was a child, these people, I would not know them. Why? Because they'd be in the Institute for Living or they'd be in Middletown. Society would not tolerate that.
I hope you meant the Middletown facility, not just in the town.
Fred would tell you that they're walking around the town. But so here's here's the issue that we're going to be hearing about over the next few days. That trans people are no more violent when it comes to mass shootings than the average member of the black community. You know, you were just talking with John about that. Or, you know, what about these people who were not trans who went and they shot up their school, or they shot up a gay nightclub,
Correct.
or something like that?
Correct.
What we are not being told, though, and this is why I feel so strongly about trans people who are taking any action to remove body parts, need to get the best care that we can provide, even if it means raising our taxes, which I know people won't like, is that this is the group that has decided to target young children that they don't know, that they don't have a beef with. It is a very different shooting from the guy who goes driving up Albany Avenue and unloads on some people that he thinks may have wronged him in a drug deal.
That's very true.
Or the kid who goes to the high school and wants to shoot the bullies who were doing stuff. This is the group specifically that has made the targeting of children in a Christian/Catholic school their target. And we have a choice as a society. Are we going to take this, or are we going to put our foot down? And I'm going to bring up Adam Lanza in closing here. Adam Lanza was not trans.
Right.
We have heard nothing at all about him being trans.
Right.
But I'll tell you one thing that Adam Lanza was. Adam Lanza would best be described as non-sexual.
Okay.
I'm sorry. There is not much difference for me between a person who is non-sexual, even though he was a male, he had no interest in young women his age, and someone who is trans and you know, worried about their gender identity.
Right.
It is a messed up situation, and we need to put our foot down, because one of these days it's going to be a lot more than 2 children.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot more than 3 children.
Well, we had 3, and we had 3 in
Newtown.
We had 3 in the Nashville situation. It was a transgender killed 3 kids, but you're right about that. I take both of these incidents at heart, and what you're saying, Joe. And that is, why are they targeting innocent children who have never had an opinion? We know, or nothing that we could possibly suggest, that small children would have no interest, much less conversation that would warrant an attack like this. Like, little kids in a Catholic school or Christian school are not running around demonizing those in the transgender community. The reason why they're being attacked is because they believe they're going after the youngest who are being taught Christianity and Catholicism and seeing them as a threat, like getting rid of them, like going back in time and hurting baby Hitler. You know what I mean?
Yep. And the day that I see trans people doing drive-bys of, you know, drug dealers, or trans people going into an adult situation and unloading their weapon, is the day that I'll have to call and say, hey, I was wrong. But right now, as I look at it, they're sending a signal to us.
I believe
and it's up to us as to whether or not anyone's home to accept that signal and what we're going to do about it.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Much
appreciated. Thank you very much.
You got it, sir. Welcome home. Let's go to Walter. He's on his cell. How are you, sir?
Yeah, nice to talk with you, Reese. When you brought up Chris Murphy, it was a year, probably 2 years ago. Ted Cruz was trying. They had Senate hearings, and Ted Cruz was trying to get a bill passed to provide $50 billion to put policemen or guards in every private or public school in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Murphy killed it.
Yeah, and walked out of the hearing where he was having an open debate with with Ted Cruz, only to go out to the cameras to admonish him.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I have that video somewhere around here. But yeah, Ted Cruz was evident. Aside from the fact that he was ticked off at the stunt that Chris Murphy was pulling, but he also expressed it. It's like, this was never about a discussion. This was an opportunity to go out there to the cameras and say, you know, see these bad Republicans. And it's always the case with Chris Murphy. This guy doesn't care about the kids of Newtown. He cares about the stunts and the people and the platitudes that he can make on their behalf, or use them as a cudgel against people who are opposed to him. But he has no interest in protecting them.
Absolutely.
Thank you, buddy.
Did you see the video on X?
I did, of course. I've seen it several times.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, man. And what Walter's talking about the X post of this person, the shooter, and one of the first images you see is a target with a picture of Jesus Christ, because again, that's always been the biggest issue in this area. Now, some people in the LGBTQ community are going to be offended by me saying this, but I'm sorry. I didn't bring this on. I didn't bring this fight. You did. And people have poo-pooed and dismissed it, but I'm going to say it again. Catholics and Christians have always been the soft target for the LGBTQ community. I asked this question 30 years ago, before I ever did radio. And I asked it again when I got into radio. On every one of my shows, I ask it all the time, and no one's ever answered it, especially those in the LGBT community. But if you are of that community, I would beg to get an answer from you. Why is it that when people protest gay marriage, lifestyles, any of those things in that community, they only go to Christians and Catholics? They never go to Muslims. They never go to synagogues. They only go to the Christian faith. And why? Is it because of the old adage of turning the other cheek? Is it because you know there'll be no retribution? Is it because you know that a certain group of people might and probably would in their own backyard toss individuals off a roof? I always hearken back to this, folks. And listen, this is not a joke. You can look it up yourself. You can always go and check it out. Columbia University, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, giving a lecture at Columbia University. Now, in retrospect, it sort of makes sense, right? The Iranian president who hates Jews, hates gays, was asked by one of the attendees of his lecture, what do Iranian gays do in Iran? And his response was, there are no gays in Iran. The girl was adamant. Absolutely there are. We know of them. You do? Where are they? And I don't think that little small mind of mush knew exactly what she was getting into. But where I come from, that was called dry snitching. Because Mahmoud Ahmadinejad went to Iran and said to the Ayatollah, do you know we have gays in our country? And you can damn well bet that they went out to go find them. You can damn well bet that there was an effort to locate them. That young lady thought, oh, the gay thing, that's everywhere. Yay! She didn't know who she was talking to. And she thought that Mahmoud Ahmadinejad being at Columbia University still clearly must be one of them. It's funny how these folks get a wake-up call after the fact. But again, I ask, why are they always at the Catholic faith? Why are they always attacking the Christian faith? Why? Is it because they're known for their forgiveness? Why? Is it because they've known to rally around one another and rely on their Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? Why? Is it because they're not known to lash out against those who are opposed to them? Maybe perhaps they are the soft target that these people need in order to shame and embarrass and to desecrate. This isn't to say that Christians should come outside of themselves. This is not saying that they should change their tactics. But this should be a wake-up call. That's all I'm saying. You might want to consider it. Let's go to Courtney Ann hanging out with us today. What's going on, Courtney? All the way out in Fresno, California. Courtney, you there?
Hello.
Hey,
how you doing?
Pretty good. What's up?
Hey, I was going to say to your comment about the Christians, they probably go towards the Christians and the Catholics because they're known for gay stuff.
Okay.
I can't King James. What's the name of the King James? He was gay.
I would go back to one of the earlier popes, in fact. But my question is why would they, if they think that they're an ally, why would they go there and admonish them and attack them in a fashion that they do?
I comment to that. So it's crazy to me. So many things is crazy. It's insane to me. It's insane to me that we're actually, we being the people, are trying to make sense of a psychopath. You know, like the fact that whether he was gay, if he was black and he went and killed a whole bunch of white people, it would be because they were white and he was black. Or if it was white, if they were white and went and killed a whole bunch of black people, it would be, it has to be because they hated black people. Or now he's gay, so it has to be because he's a transgender, or it's against the LGBT, or it's against.
Have you seen his post?
No, no. Granted, he was a radical. He was a radical psychopath. Although he probably did think he was doing it for that under that name, but I don't think that it should be tied to the whole community, because
why not?
He's a psychopath because he's a psychopath.
But wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Courtney, before you go any further, there's an important distinction that you're making here. You're saying don't associate him with the thing he associated himself with.
Yeah, I am, because look, I am a tax-paying, law-abiding citizen. I do not steal, and I work. Should I get treated like the black people that shoot everybody and cause chaos and act crazy?
No. See, again, what you just did is exactly the opposite of what I just described. See, what I'm saying is that if you are a law-abiding African-American working-class individual and you associate yourself with the gang-banging shooters, that's different. What I'm saying is that I'm associating.
What if they're my cousins?
No. I'm associating him with the thing he associated himself with. All I'm saying is he doesn't get to be just a shooter who happens to be gay or part of the LGBTQ community. What he gets to be is the thing that he pronounced. If he says, I'm shooting these people because I want justice for my group of people, he's associated with the group of people he aligned with. So he set the precedent, not me.
Yeah, but he set his precedent because he is a psychopath. He didn't set the precedent for the LGBT community. It's not like the community set him to do that.
Oh, no.
Gotta roll.
We got hold on, Courtney. Let me put you on hold real quick. We'll get you on the other side. We got to take a break. It's a hard break coming up. All right, stand by. We got more, Courtney, and more of this topic when we return, and of course, a legion of phone calls. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Whoa, hold up. Let's not put all 100 candles on the cake. Slow your roll. That's a fire hazard. And there's expensive radio equipment in here. And I'm not quite sure what I'm wearing is fireproof.
Let's get back to the phones. Courtney Ann is on the line. Look, I get your point saying that we as people should not align people with certain groups. Nonetheless, that's going to happen, whether we like it or not. But in this particular case, I have got to, like, if some, like the Pulse nightclub, the Pulse nightclub shooter was an Islamist who shot up the gay nightclub, and then when he realized he had people inside bathroom stalls, he was shooting into the stalls as they were hiding into them, and then stopped and asked if anyone in the stalls was African American, and said, if you are black, you have to come out because you suffered enough. That's what this animal said. Yeah, actually. Now, I know you're saying that that's insane, but look, I always say at the end of the day, right, all of this, what we know of, this particular person who you're calling a maniac, the shooter in Nashville, right, at the other Catholic school, as many of these mass shooters that we catch, the one in New York City just recently, what's the one thing that most of them, if not all, do? Columbine even, the one that kind of started it all. They all take their own lives at the end of it. And then we read a manifesto that says that they are either planning to die, knew they were going to die. So we can say this whole psychotic or mental breaks or whatever it is, but they had the wherewithal to write a manifesto, had the wherewithal to know that they were going to die, had the wherewithal to know that their lives were going to end. So at what level do we call them psychopaths, Courtney?
I mean, so you're saying that because they knew all that makes them not a psychopath? I don't think a psychopath has anything to do with the knowing of you're going to die or knowing that you want to kill yourself. I think a psychopath is your mind is chaotically janky to where it would cause you to go shoot up some kids. Like, I feel like we're...
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but let me put it this way. So maybe I'm doing this without your knowledge, or maybe I'm doing this when you're not trying to. What I hear when someone says these people are psychotic, it's a dismissive tone to the fact that they are well aware of what they're doing. In other words, saying, well, they're psychotic, so their mind was warped, and they don't know like giving them a pass saying they don't really know what they're doing.
No, I don't mean that.
So okay.
Let's not use psychotic.
Oh, no, I apologize. Like I said, I'm the one who's, I'm putting 10 on a 2 on this one.
I get what you're saying. Like, no, they shouldn't plea insanity and no, heck no. They know what they're doing, and something's wrong with them. They're screws loose. I mean, like, they should, but let me say this. This is what's the craziest part to me. It's crazy how all these bad things, these shootings that happen in America, right? Why do we always have to turn them political? Why do we always have to turn it into a Democrat-Republican thing? Like, I saw someone comment on your post, and they said, Democrats love violence. Like, that's kind of a weird thing to say. Like, I don't believe that.
I did not so far make this political. And if it's political on any level,
the callers have.
No, I know that. But hey, look, you got to give them. Look, they're going to do what they're going to do, and I leave it at that. But let me say this: the only political or politicization, as I put it, I hate that word. The only politicization I find in this are people who are in charge in places like Connecticut who refuse to do the thing that's necessary. This idea that police officers at the schools are bad optics, they fail to recognize the only optics we care about are the optics that deter the shooter. Like, when they see the cops, I want them to say, that optic says I can't go in there with a gun because it's not a soft target. They're going to be people shooting back. That's the optics I care about.
Let me say two things. One to that, or we just get every teacher to be licensed to carry.
No!
Or, I mean, why not?
No. What I'm saying is that that's not what they're trained for. And I don't need them to be, look, it's bad enough we can barely get them to actually teach kids to read. What I want them to do is to be focused on is actually teaching the children and knowing that they're safe. I don't want teachers doing active shooter drills. I want police officers there guarding them.
Take it from a woman. When you have a gun in your purse, you feel safer than you've ever felt before. But let me say this.
I know. I have a wife who carries, so I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Man, I feel so safe when I'm in my house. Oh, you have no idea. But so this is what I want to say. So to the ones that are making it political, right? It's just funny. Like, so we're not even to the transgender, the people that are cutting their genital parts off and mutilating themselves, right? What about the doctors that are the ones performing it? Like, at what point are we holding everybody accountable? Like,
hey,
we opened Pandora's box, and this is exactly what
we are trying our best. I mean, that's the reason why we got the president of the United States.
Hey, trying is lying. I always say that trying is lying. Trying is what people that fail tell themselves so they don't have to admit that they.
Well,
failed.
no. When I say trying is right now we have clinics right here in Connecticut and other places in New England that are shutting down operations for transgender care. And in fact, what do we have? Guys like William Tong who are suing the administration to allow that to continue. So when I say trying, we're trying to thwart that.
We need to get some kahunas. I think people need to go find the kahunas because, look, even a Republican, whatever party you're for, if you see the other party doing some stuff that is not okay, why are you not fighting? Forget a protest. Protests don't work. Peacefully doing anything has never got anybody anywhere.
Are you calling for violence, Courtney?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you can't. No. That's never going to work because guess what it gets?
Tell me one thing.
I will tell you.
It gets results.
No, it doesn't. Because ask Antifa. Ask Antifa how that's worked for them. What we need to do is
that's
look.
Not even the same category.
Yeah, Antifa.
Ask America how that works for them. America's the one who taught me that. I'm not getting this from my own thoughts. I'm getting this from how history has shown.
No,
America
actually,
like,
Courtney, give me a second. Give me a second, Courtney. Courtney, give me a second. Give me a second. That suggestion that violence is what built America has always been false. No. That is it. Listen, that is nonsensical stuff that the so-called Ivy League African-American scholars and very radical liberals have been telling people for the longest. We have groups like the Weather Underground who believe that bombing the Pentagon was going to get them in their righteous path. That never worked. There's these so-called violence that people keep thinking these certain groups or whatever it are who think that violence is going to get a means to ends. What you're asking for is fascism. And what you're asking for is the thing. Hold on, Courtney. It's the thing that you're asking for. Okay, is the thing that never works and only results in people revolting to your cause. Because guess what? In the end, only innocent people end up hurt because they never go after the people that they so-called want to go after. They always go after innocents. You have to also think about this. What the actions of this shooter did today, that was political in their sense because what they thought was their mission, their ideals were being ignored, and they hated living in the world that rejected their ideas. And what did they choose to get results? To affect 2 children and a dozen others. So that violence never, ever works because right now it's only caused us to revolt. But I do have to go, Courtney. I do. I got to get to the other calls.
America does say, if you mess with us, we will blow you up.
Yeah, it's called mess with us first. It's called mess with us first. But yeah, we need to deter all types of that. We don't
go find our kahunas.
Yeah, okay, Courtney. Thank you, Courtney. just that kind of nonsense is so faculty. It just is so absolute faculty. It never worked for the Weather Underground. It never worked for any of these groups. Every one of them. And the objective is always to instill fear. That's not to actually get results. It's to instill fear. That's not fighting for anything. That's actually trying to scare and harm people. And that's the way that always goes. Ken is in Meriden. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Reese?
I'm all right, sir. What's up?
That girl can talk. Oh, God. I was waiting. I was like, I'm getting close to where I got to be. I don't know if I'm going to get my call in here, but anyway.
I got you, buddy. What's up?
Couple things. First thing, if we want to see school shootings stop, what we need to do, and you mentioned it, but we have to get rid of the bill that Joe Biden put into law. He was the one that wrote it. What is it? Gun-free zones.
Yes.
Schools and churches are gun-free zones because of a bill that Joe Biden wrote, I think 93 or 94. I don't remember what year it was, but that's when he was a senator. That's what he did. So that's why schools are soft targets.
Yep. And I don't even know.
Armed guards.
Can you explain that to me? What is a gun-free zone? Who are they talking to and targeting when they say to them, don't bring a gun in here? Who are they talking to? I mean, I have an answer, but I'd love to hear what
you and me.
Maybe people like you and me.
That's who they're talking to.
Okay.
That's who they're talking to. They don't want guns anywhere. They don't want anything to happen. Well, you know what? My Second Amendment right. I should be able to carry wherever I want with some exceptions.
Right.
But a school should be one, and I disagree with the guy and I don't remember if it was the guy that was before Courtney.
Yeah.
That said school teachers should be armed. I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
I think Courtney said that too.
I agree with what you said. Okay. I agree with what you said. Put armed guards. You have retired police officers. You have retired military like myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be willing to do it for peanuts. But besides having armed guards in schools, you have to make them harder targets.
Help me out with this real quick before we go to a break. If I'm right about this, and if you're a police officer out there, in fact, Ruddy, if you're out there, John Rotowski, if you're listening to the show, I need to know if this is the case. But by the way, Ken, thank you so much. Let me let you go, buddy, because I got to get to a break in a second. Let me ask this question. Thank you, man.
Talk to you later.
You got it, sir. Ruddy, let me ask you this, because I'm almost certain, because I know that the Detective Arbujo, who I know very well, because he was involved in my life very personally, he retired and then came back to get a particular pension. Tell me if I'm right. Is there a way that we can get a school resource officer who's like, let's say, needs extra years to get his pension, he's about to retire, couldn't those officers do the job where they're guarding schools, like as a part of their retirement package? That, you know, saying if I've got 20 years, but I need 25, and I can do 5 years as a resource officer. Let me know if that's the case. And Ruddy, if you're listening, please let me know. Send me a text or something. Let's take a break. We'll come back. There's a whole slew of phone calls in here, and I'll get to them when we return. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back, and the phones are literally off the hook. The comments are everywhere. I got to read a couple of them right now. Scripture, I, the Lord, bring in the light. I bring in the darkness. I create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things, like it or not. God works on both sides of this, Raymond writes. Lori M. writes, the dark evil is coming against the light of good. She writes, Lori L., Research Department, says, in my opinion, it's an effort to discredit God's presence by allowing the evil to exist. Let me see some more in here. A lot of people are coming in. Donald says, Reese, I do agree that the black community must take personal responsibility for gun violence. However, the ready availability of guns is a huge concern. Yeah, it is a huge concern. But again, this is that thing. I'm going to say something, and I got to say it. I don't think that people know that kids in the inner city have choices, even the kids in the inner city. And I think that's a problem. There is a brainwashing, for lack of a better term, that happens in the inner city. They do not believe that they have a choice in all of this. If drugs are in your community, you can choose not to take them or not to sell them. You can choose to. You don't have a racial commitment to these things. You don't have a hood commitment to any of these things. Because they sell drugs or sell guns in your community, you do not have to join a gang. You have no commitment. This does not make you blacker or more hood or more of a representative of those things. You have a choice.
Yeah.
Well, I
agree with you to a certain extent.
Okay, well, tell me where you don't. Where you stop?
Sometimes your kids are forced into from older brothers,
that
older cousins, uncles, family members.
Those are gang families.
Yeah, some of them don't have a choice.
Yes, those are gang families, and they do exist. They do. But other stuff you don't have. I mean, other people outside.
For the most part, the most, like 70%, 75%, you have a choice.
Right, exactly. You have no racial commitment to any of these stereotypes. It will not win you favor with your friends. You know, we used to have this saying that says, you know, when those friends are dead and gone, you're left there holding the bag, right? When you get into trouble, they don't exist anymore. They're not there to hold you down, as they say. So you have no racial commitment to any of it. It doesn't make you authentically black in any way. You can do whatever you want to do. It's okay. Let's get our first check of weather and traffic.
In any way, it's okay. Oh, you dropping bars. All right, bro.
Let's get our first check of weather and traffic. Bob Larson's got weather. And Mark Christopher, he's at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark. Who's coming, I think. He'll be there in a second. Almost there. I'll hang on as long as I need, to be honest with you. I mean,
I guess we're going to go then.
No, okay.
I don't hear him.
All right, we'll go to weather then.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, Reese on the radio. We are back. Let's do this thing because you know we got to do it every day at 4.
Savory, flavory, bagel, deli, and bakery. Between rounds.
And congratulations to Maureen C. in West Hartford. She is today's winner of the Between Rounds Dozen Bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. If you'd like a chance to win, you got to go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. You got to enter all of your information. That means phone number and your date of birth. I don't care how old you are. You got to put it in there. You must live in the state of Connecticut. And you cannot have won within the last 6 months. By the way, I got to get to one of these winners that had a problem getting their certificate. I totally forgot them when I was in Connecticut, but I will fix it, and I apologize that I didn't get to it, but I'll find a way to fix it. I will deal with Jerry and make sure he takes care of it. All right, and with that, when we return, I totally forgot this because I didn't even realize it was Wednesday, and with the breaking news of the Annunciation Catholic School shooting, I got caught up in that. But you guys remember that last week we went to the Superior Court in Hartford because there was testimony by the public and by attorneys trying to get the release of the tape or video of the assault on J. Allen Jones. His mother was there. We're going to be talking to her very soon. The mother of his child, we're also going to be talking to her very soon. But today, we're going to talk to attorney Alex Taubes, who is representing the Connecticut Examiner. He was there, and he gave public statements as well. We're going to talk to him about his effort to get this videotape released, which is very reminiscent of the days of the Rahm Emanuel Laquan McDonald case, and I'm sure he's familiar with. We'll talk to him about that after we get back from weather and traffic. And this is an important case. Right now, there's going to be, I guess, a written response by the judge in this. I don't know what it looks like. We'll ask Alex about it and whether the chances of this being released will happen. Of course, he will talk about his efforts to get Tom to back up off this thing and get the video released and what he thinks about it. I'll ask him a whole bunch of questions. So stand by for that when we return. Now let's get another check of weather and traffic with Bob Larson and Mark Christopher is at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back, folks, and on the line with us, as promised, attorney Alex Taubes. Is it? Why do I want to say Taubes, but it's Taubes? Am I pronouncing it correctly, Alex?
It's Taubes, yes.
Taubes, yeah, okay. And you are, again, you have your own firm, but you are here, in this case, representing the Connecticut Examiner, in essence, suing the state to release the tapes of J. Allen Jones's death and the events that led to it. Explain to us, one, what you're trying to do. Well, let's talk about how you got involved in this case.
Thank you so much, Reese. My name's Alex Taubes. I'm a civil rights attorney in New Haven, Connecticut, and I represent many incarcerated people who are suing the state for a variety of reasons, many of them wrongfully convicted of crimes they didn't commit, others who have been subjected to brutal abuses in the prison environment. And I also represent a lot of other different types of organizations. In this instance, a newspaper in Connecticut, Connecticut Examiner, ctexaminer.com, they've hired me because they disagree with the government's decision to keep the video of a prisoner's death secret and under seal. The newspaper wants to publish the video to its readers and customers, and the government and the court system thus far have said no. So they hired me to essentially bring a motion in court forcing the court to release the video.
Now, you are doing this alongside the Connecticut ACLU. Are you guys working separately, together? What's exactly the relationship there? Are you just two separate entities searching for the same thing?
Well, I've worked with the ACLU many times in the past. I wouldn't call myself a card-carrying member, but we are colleagues, and also Dan Barrett is a civil rights attorney for the ACLU who gets involved in a lot of the similar types of matters I get involved in. In this case, we represent distinct entities with distinct goals and views. ACLU obviously cares about freedom of speech and civil liberties. As a newspaper, CT Examiner cares about freedom of the press.
Now, Alex, there's something that I heard through the grapevine. When you and I were introduced, I was told that there are people who have seen this video of Jay Allen's death, and they want it released to the public. Is there any truth to that? Have some people seen it? Because I heard maybe his mother, Jessica Jones, has viewed the videotape. Others may have viewed the videotape. Is there any truth to that?
Well, I don't know who's seen it and who's not, but it's obvious that some people have viewed it. The lawyers for the government have viewed it. The DOC Security Division has viewed it. The judge is going to view it pretty soon. And then there is a protective order in the case, which is basically a court-ordered guideline over materials that have been exchanged with the lawyers for Jay Allen Jones's family. That lawyer, or the lawyers representing the estate, they have seen the video. They have hired expert witnesses, private contractors who have viewed the video. But I believe that anyone other than state employees who have viewed it are required to sign this protective order saying that they will not release it to anyone else.
They also are not allowed to disclose what they see on this tape. Is that true?
That's a little more murky to me, in my opinion, because how do you stop someone from describing something that they've seen?
Right.
There's also a written report on the video that has screenshots from the video and description of what is seen on the video. But in theory, they can't be going around saying that this is exactly what I saw because they have to sign something before they can watch it.
Gotcha. And in essence, that's sort of like using a very loose term. It can only be described something to the effect of like an NDA, right? Like a non-disclosure sort of deal.
Exactly. They have to sign an NDA to watch the video. It's basically like the kind of process you have to go through if you want to be in a Diddy freak-off.
Nice one. Way to tie that in. We're on the phone with attorney Alex Taubes, who is representing the Connecticut Examiner in the Jay Allen Jones case. Talk to me a little bit about what you think as far as the hearing we went to, or where I met you, and the public's response to this. I mean, we heard from his mother, Jessica Jones. We also heard from the mother of his son, and I keep forgetting her name. Richardson is her last name. Am I right there?
Yeah, Richardson.
Yes.
The Richardson family.
Yeah, she says that her son also suffers from schizophrenia, that he got genetically from his father. There's truth to that, right?
Well, I don't know anything about.
Oh, you don't know
that.
about? Okay, you don't have to answer that.
I don't know about their family. I don't represent them.
Okay.
I do know there's a lot of people who came out to that hearing. You would have thought that Kim Kardashian is in that video based on how many people came to that hearing.
Indeed.
It was very high public interest. Yeah.
So what do you make of the state or the government's case? Because you said you were probably one of the most, let's just say, passionate speakers there. Not that his mother wasn't. She's saddened and she's subdued. But you had such a passionate argument. In the beginning, I was like, okay, let me find out what this guy's like. But you got up there. You were so good. People were resisting applauding in the room because the judge told them not to have any outbursts. But talk to me about why you're so passionate, because you do stand up for these people who are wronged inside the criminal justice system. But you, like I did when I heard about this, know that there is something rotten in Denmark. Talk to me about William Tong's fighting this video coming out and what you think that's about.
Well, I was pretty frank with the judge. What I told her was that I don't really think that this is a close call. I don't really think it's close at all. That if you're going by what the law says and the Constitution and what our precedents say and what our country is about, then we shouldn't be up here begging that the government and the courts show us the evidence they're using to say they did nothing wrong when someone died. And he was completely under the control of the government. So this is not private property we're talking about here. And the only person whose privacy is at stake is the family of the man who died. And they're demanding publicity, not privacy. So if it's a question of law, It's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
But what we have here is a very powerful politician in the Attorney General, William Tong, who has put his professional reputation and career on the line in favor of secrecy. And when an Attorney General says something needs to be secret, you think, well, I mean, there must be something on this video that's going to threaten national security. And the judge hasn't even seen it yet, so she doesn't know how sincere they are. But unless, they've taken out bin Laden on this video in the background, there's nothing secret here. This happened on our watch, on our prison property, where anybody can go. Even Governor Malloy, Governor Lamont like to go and throw a press conference. Cameras are allowed in then. But when something happens that might be a little bit off script, then they think it's a threat to national security. I think it's laughable. I tried to contain my laughter and just tell the court that I didn't think it was close.
Yeah. No, you made it a compelling case. We're on the phone with attorney Alex Taubes. He is representing the Connecticut Examiner in the case of the release of the J. Allen Jones assault, if not murder. The coroner has called it a homicide. He didn't refer to it as a negligent homicide, but he referred to it as a homicide. No one has been held accountable. And his family wants the video released. Let me ask you something about this, because there are several things that I found out later on after I heard about this story, be it the article that was written by Devon Ward or the article that was written in law.com. What I found out going there was so many more details that literally blew my mind away, was the fact that I thought it was just 4 police officers that subdued Jay Allen. It turns out it was as many as 9. And another part about this that also blew my mind is that we are not talking about a videotape or a recording that was on stationary or cameras that are stationary inside the room. This was filmed on a handheld camcorder. What do you make of any of that?
I think that it's just outrageous that we are even having this discussion. And to top it all off, Reese, the video's from over 7 years ago. We're talking 90 months ago this video was created. J. Allen Jones's sentence would have been over by now.
Yeah.
He would have been released from prison by now. So what are we doing here? Are we blocking history from being public? I mean, it's almost history at this point, 7 years later. But the government counts on things cooling off with time. And so if they can slow things down for years and years, sometimes that means people are going to stop paying attention. People are going to give up. Things will die down and go away. In this situation, it seems to me that if they're still fighting to keep it secret this many years later, they may really have something to hide on this video. And that's very disturbing, that the reason why they would try to keep it secret is because they have something to hide.
Let me ask you this, because I talked to a lot of people, and I saved this for you till you got on air. You had said some things that we talked about in the hallway. I don't want to get into that. You said something interesting in relation to William Tong versus Donald Trump that I'll keep to ours, to just us, because I thought it was great that you said it. But and you may not even be a Trump fan, but I still love that you said it because it was pretty funny and true. But the thing that I find myself compelled by in all of this is there are some people who believe that William Tong is protecting the legacy of Governor Malloy because it happened on his watch, and also protecting the legacy of the Democrat Party as it relates to their relationship with the African-American and minority communities in Connecticut. Why do I say that? According to them, if this video comes out, Lamont and William Tong, much less Democrats in Connecticut, would lose the support of the African-American community. It's not about, because again, it doesn't make sense because it didn't happen on William Tong's watch. It didn't happen on Governor Lamont's watch. It happened before they even were, the governor or the attorney general. Why would they be protecting us to so many levels? And some people say it's because of the legacy of Democrats in the relationship with the black community, and this would alter it for the rest of time. What do you say?
I think that the governor and the attorney general have been very unwilling to, this current governor and attorney general have kind of pumped the brakes on policies that the prior governor put in to help people who are in jail and in prisons. And so this is the result of policies not being put in place and people not caring about what goes on in the prison. And as a result of that, now if they release this video, it's going to be embarrassing.
Sure.
Why were you keeping it secret for so long? Why were you fighting this case for so long? Why were you trying to get it dismissed? Why were you trying not to pay the family anything? All of those things did happen under Lamont and Tong's watch. And that's actually been their MO.
Right.
They make very good words to the black community. Very good words. Some of the best words you can come up with to say. But when it comes to actually putting money where your mouth is and devoting the resources or correcting the historical injustices that have been visited upon black people, they're not there. Because if there's one thing we know about the government in Connecticut is that it wants your money. It wants your tax money. It wants to eat it up, suck it up, and I don't know what they do with it, but they want your money, right?
Right. Yeah.
And better believe they don't want to take any of that and give it back to people they've wronged.
Interesting. You know what? And it's funny that because even Devon Ward said that William Tong's response to him when in other cases when they were seen in private, like at the gas station or anything, is that, Tong says he has a fiduciary duty to protect the taxpayers' money. But even Devon says that that's inconsistent because when he wants to, he'll be happy to give taxpayer dollars to a whole bunch of other boondoggles. But just here, he just won't do it. And I think you're right on point with his resistance within those communities that they know that they're wrong. It might be just lip service. So, Alex, I thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. As the developments come up, we're still waiting for the judge to give a written decision. Is that what we're waiting on now?
It could only be at most another 7 years. I'm sure we'll get an answer.
Let's hope it's not that long, okay? I got to be here. Right. Attorney Alex Taubes, representing the Connecticut Examiner in the J. Allen Jones case. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
You got it.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. And I'd like to thank Alex for being a part of the program, setting us off. I got to stick with the protocol. We'll get to your phone calls in a second. Let's get to some news. WWE co-founder Vince McMahon applied for a pretrial probationary program at his arraignment for his reckless driving case yesterday. He appeared at the State Superior Court in Stamford, where he applied for accelerated rehabilitation program. If granted, McMahon could see the charges against him dismissed. McMahon's court appearance comes after his July arrest in connection with a Merritt Parkway crash. I'm not going to lie. I'm not giving him a pass or anything, but is it me or is that like the least like highway? I've never liked the Merritt. I don't even know what it is. Anytime I've had to go on it, I don't like driving it on it at night. Maybe somebody could explain it to me. I think it's me.
No.
Is it me or is it not me?
It's not you.
It's not. Oh, so, okay. So you feel the same way about the Merritt Parkway?
I hate the Merritt Parkway.
What is it? What's the part that bothers you about the Merritt Parkway?
First of all, I don't think there's many breakdown lanes.
Yes, that's a big problem.
The speed limit is such and such, but people drive 90.
Yes.
And they're whipping out through traffic.
And it's so thin. It doesn't feel like you have any room.
Yeah, you don't have any room. And if, God forbid, the weather's bad, that's 10 times worse. And if it's nighttime, It's crazy deers everywhere. Everybody's hitting deers.
Okay, so I'm not off the beaten path on this one. It's everything you just described is my problem with the Merritt Parkway.
Yeah.
Every one of those reasons.
I literally drive an extra 35 minutes when I'm coming back from New York just so I don't have to get
to avoid it.
To avoid it, yeah. I go 684 through Brewster and White Plains and to 84. I'd rather just go that way.
And it's so funny because so many people's like, yeah, just take the Merritt. And I'm like, no.
No thanks.
I hate when people suggest it. Oh, the Merritt gets you there faster. I'm like, I hate that. It doesn't matter about whether or not getting there faster. I don't feel comfortable. I always feel uncomfortable on it. And everybody else drives on it like a lunatic.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I'm glad. I feel better now. I got more headlines when we return. Speaking of the Merritt Parkway, Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, Merritt Parkway. What is
Yes.
it? Is it me that most people don't like the Merritt Parkway because of the reasons Roland just said? Because there's no what do you call it? Emergency lane. It's very thin.
Right.
Of course, at night you have to worry about deer crossing, and everybody drives on it like it's the Autobahn.
That road was designed and built in the 1930s, and that really not a whole lot has changed since then. Obviously, there's a lot more traffic. Cars go a lot quicker now.
Yes,
and
it was not designed for today's traffic.
No. I don't see that changing anytime soon.
No.
So, the thing is around here when you're going down there, you can either go 91 to 95, or you can take the Wilbur. If you don't like truck traffic, that's the road you're probably going to pick.
Right.
If you don't like deers and dark road, you're probably going to pick 95. So, so pick your poison there, because that ain't going to change anytime soon.
Damn right.
The NAACP calls him, whoa. I don't think I'm allowed to read this.
It's Reese on the radio.
Let's just say some people are not fans.
On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
My fault. My stupid microphone. We'll get back to the headlines in a second, but I want to go to the phones because people have been on hold for a bit. Let's go to Karen in Southington. Hello, Karen.
Hey there, Reese. So the big thing about the Merritt, why it's called a parkway versus a highway, when it was built, it was supposed to be a recreational route. Like you go on your Sunday morning, your Sunday afternoon drive. That's what it was intended to be, with specific Art Deco bridges, and it was supposed to be this beautiful little country highway. And obviously it turned into a path for New Yorkers to come into Connecticut. And the big thing about the Merritt is you can't have any kind of commercial vehicles.
Right.
No, bucket trucks. Nothing on there. It's great when you see a police officer who is stopping red vehicles that aren't.
Karen, you brought up something that, you know what, as you were saying it, that is one of the things that I've always recognized about the Merritt. It looks like it's meant for like recreational travel, it almost seems like the road was developed as a tourist attraction.
It was, because there was no traffic back then, and it was not a direct route between New York and Connecticut to avoid tolls back then, which it is now. But the biggest thing that I dislike about the Merritt, I would say, about driving on there, is the areas that you could go off the highway, go to the gas station, go to the Dunkin' Donuts, and those people trying to get back on that highway is like suicide for both the people and for you as the commuter. It is like suicide.
Double Dutch.
Yo, it's so crazy that you say that, because I've done that like by accident, end up on the Merritt Parkway, and you have the on-ramp, and I did it in two different cars. I did it in a Mustang, and then I did it in like a 4-cylinder car, which is the worst vehicle that you could get on the Merritt with, because to hear people honking at you while you are impeding their motion on the Merritt because you are trying to rev up to 60 miles an hour is the worst feeling in the world.
I think my biggest fear of driving the Merritt is someday getting stuck in that tunnel near Woodbridge,
Yes.
getting off near, and thinking to myself, you're a dead man, because the way that people speed through without any other lane to move to, you may as well just be dead at that point.
Yeah,
But
somebody's going to rear end you without a doubt.
Awful place. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awful place.
Thank you. I appreciate you. All you have to do is mention traffic around here. You guys will definitely show up. I love you for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks, Karen. Let's go to Fulton. How are you, sir?
What's up, buddy? I heard something about the Merritt. So in the 30s when they built it, right, they built the bridge low enough so buses out of New York City couldn't come out to the beaches like Milford and stuff. So
Great.
I swear, honestly, because you can't, right? So people with cars, that's who could come out to the beaches in Connecticut from New York. So whoever they're excluding in the 30s, you can imagine, and I'm not going to say.
Somebody, and only reason why I know this, Fulton, is because when we first got to Connecticut back in 2004, someone had suggested to us, and it may have been a cruel joke. Well, somebody said, hey, you want to take a great trip up to Connecticut to Hartford? Take the Merritt. And sure enough, the guy I was going up there with said, hey, man, they said take the Merritt Parkway. We're going to love it. Well, I'm the one driving, and I'm kind of new to driving at the time. I didn't get my driver's license until I was in my 40s. But I was driving on that thing, and I don't remember a life ever where I didn't have my hands on 10 and 2 the entire drive with tunnel vision.
What's the parkway by the Reader's Digest coming up in Westchester there, where you go over by the by Nyack and all that?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Is that the Iconic? That's just
yes.
bad. I mean, those are horrible. But I really called to say the only thing that really stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
That's right.
No more laws. So, and I say, like, not for nothing, 10 months after Sandy Hook, I was a cop, right? So they vote, Newtown votes to have cops in the school, and they vote no. 10 months after Sandy Hook.
Wow.
And those were the victims. So not for nothing, do people want guns in the school? Because Sandy Hook said no 10 months later. So I don't know. I don't know what.
Do you think it was because of
money,
their
money? They said it was money.
Well, okay. You don't think that had anything to do with their visceral reaction to guns and its use in the taking of lives, that people are like, the immediate rejection is almost shell-shocking. You just go, look, I don't want any more guns. I just no more guns.
Do something. People say, I have to do something. I want to do something about this. I have to make a change. And people don't realize that it's like a virtue signal. Like, let's make more rules. Let's make more laws so it's harder for a regular guy with a gun to get a gun that could actually stop something at the mall.
Yeah, it's got to be done. And I think, look, when we have so many people who say that we don't want average citizens with a gun and we want authority with a gun, this is the only...
Christine saying a teacher with a gun. My wife is a teacher. My daughter's going to be a teacher. Those are the last two people I want with guns.
Right.
I'll tell you that
Yeah,
now.
but I'm saying that if you really think about it, right, the people on the left who are I don't want to call them all anti, Second Amendment, but they are anti-gun. They don't want the guns in the hands of civilians, right? You were to ask them and they had their way, nobody would have a gun except for the military and police. But we are saying, as conservatives who believe in the Second Amendment and that people should be able to have the right to bear arms, we at least want police officers to have the guns, but we just want them stationed in places where they will be needed. Because in one breath, you can't say, as the first caller, said, that we have a growing number of people who are targeting schools, especially in the suburbs, a la Sandy Hook, that we cannot meet that threat with officers.
Why has there been no murders? Why has there been no murders in D.C. in the last 15 days? I know
there you go.
The Army's not stopping people. So it's just the presence that they're there with people with guns that, I don't know, you want to be in a gunfight with a couple of cats in the Army? I don't know.
You're
Come on out.
You're so
blind,
right.
untrained guy.
The evidence.
I don't know. Go to Chicago. Let's see what's happened there. And then all of a sudden, what are you going to say now? When they're not stopping people, not taking their Fourth Amendment, which the DOT does all the time in truck drivers, they can just stop you for no reason, which is insane. But, people don't want to talk about, you got to take your shoes off to get on an airplane. My mother-in-law, 80 years old.
Not anymore, though. Hey. No. If you haven't we're done with that.
20 years later, after 9/11, I'm still taking my shoes off, and I'm the threat. I get it.
Yeah, I hear you. Thanks, Fulton. Let me take one more. I'll take Mark in Windsor. How we doing, Mark?
Hello. Greetings to all the men and women listeners out there.
What's up, buddy?
hey, these transsexuals are they are mental health cases. That is a mental health disorder. Obviously, to just go and murder an innocent individual is a pure example of a person's mental disorder. But these people that are trying to live as something they never will be, no matter how much plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery they have, they'll never be the ultimate
ultimate goal, which again will drive them even to more dysphoria, because no matter what changes they do, there's still that sense of not belonging to said gender, right? And that's a mental thing, because inside the brain is where all of this is functioning, right? You can change all the body parts that you want, but there's still that constant theme going on in the brain that says, well, you're not really a woman yet. You're not real. And if that keeps permeating inside your head, the mental disorder only grows, no matter what you do physically.
And it's in these governments and these politicians, we should not have laws that it's not as, I don't see that as a civil rights law regarding transsexuals. It's not a civil rights law, but unfortunately, many people don't realize that. I believe it was during the COVID hysteria, the Biden-Harris administration pushed to move them under the civil rights laws, protections for transsexuals, and that changes that perverts people's perception of, and makes some individuals think that, oh, it's a civil rights matter. Do you
think they did that because they were running out of things to call civil rights?
Partly, but also I think that the Democrats and other and many of their Democrat political party sponsors, they're just pimping that segment of the population to sow discourse in our society.
Sure.
To help destabilize
create bad guys, create straw men.
Yep. Well, yes, and create conflicts between them and us.
Interesting, you said them.
Yeah, and also use it to kind of merge those a lot of that demographic, merge the transsexuals with the homosexuals, with the lesbians, and they made it one larger political group. When I know a lot of homosexuals don't like to associate with transsexuals.
No, well.
And they see that as a mental health disorder, and not, but politicians just are forcing it.
As they always do, lumping everybody up into categories instead of individualism. It's rampant.
This thing with the Connecticut prisons and the videotape.
Yeah.
I would have liked for that attorney to share, or maybe he did and I missed it. Are there other examples in Connecticut of where the tapes have been made public, and with police or corrections officers?
Yes, there has been, and I didn't ask him about it, but there was a case, in fact, that Alex Taubes mentions in his dissertation to the court last week, where he actually does point that out, that there was a case with another mental health patient and incarcerant who they settled with after he had died at the hands of corrections officers. But you want to know what the difference was, Mark? What do you think the difference was? The most blatant difference between the two.
William Tong wasn't there.
Nah. The incarcerated person was white. And they settled.
It doesn't surprise me.
Nope, it does not me either. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you.
Have a great one.
You too. Let's go to David in Vernon. How are you, David?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm all right. What do you got for me?
So, real quickly, the Merritt Parkway was part of a spider web that gave the people in New York City the opportunity to get out of the city.
Ah.
You had the Merritt, which was the 15. You had the 25, which went to Long Island, 25 north and south. You had Route 9 that went up to upstate New York, and there's probably something that went to New Jersey. Does that any of that reminisce with you?
Yes. In fact, I know all of those. And again, the fact that you said that the Merrick Parkway was built for New Yorkers so they could come into Connecticut, that I'm going to call that the cruelest joke Connecticut ever played on New York, the Merritt Parkway. Because I'm sorry. I drive every time I end up on it. It's only one time in my life I ever went on the Merritt Parkway on purpose. Every time I've ever been on it, and I can honestly say it's about 20, it was by accident. And
yeah, but the point was the fact that all of those highways were a spider web for people to get out of New York City.
Right.
When automobiles first became an entity.
Oh, no, I get it. I'm just saying that, as Mark, suggested, it was not built for the traffic today. It's never been expanded on. And again, if they were, what a project it would be. It would cost billions of dollars to renovate or to change or to make, to apply it to today's needs. As a spur, and every time I think about it,
roads were they were all the same style.
Yes, you're right. What's the other one in New York on the West Side Highway? I always think of the is it the river? Oh goodness gracious! There's a scene.
I don't know. You got 9A through K or something.
Yeah, it'll come to me in a second. I can't think about it. I got to go to a break though, David. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. There's a road that's in the Bronx that goes up that looks just like the Merritt Parkway. And for some odd reason, it's escaping me. It's the Something Mill Highway. Let's go to Mark Christopher. Sawmill River Parkway. That's it. The Sawmill River Parkway. I knew I would come up with it. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Isn't the Sawmill River Parkway just like the Merritt?
Yeah,
the design is just the same.
Yeah, they connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the road. This road was built in the 30s. I mean, it was part of the, put people back to work. I forgot what they called that program back in the 30s. But, it's.
Whenever I'm on the west side of Manhattan, and if I got to go to Connecticut, if I was on the Sawmill River Parkway, of course you have to go into the Merritt. You don't have to, but I did. And that would be, as soon as I saw I was on the Merritt, I would go, oh no! I hated that drive.
Yeah, now the original Merritt between Greenwich and Norwalk was opened in 1938.
Wow.
So, yeah, you can see how that road is, 80, 85, 86, 87 years old now. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, that's the reason. And like I said, people want to keep it scenic, and that way they can only do so much. There's not a lot of land to work with there.
That's right.
The problem.
Oh, it's Reese on the radio. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. I got to read some comments that are in the chat rooms. We'll read that in a minute. And then, of course, we'll get to your phone calls and wrap this day up. I also want to mention that tomorrow, the opening monologue is about a story that many people have forgotten about. It is the curious case of Kevin Rosario Moreno. Anybody remember him? Think Meriden. Again, the curious case of Kevin Rosario Moreno. I went and did some digging on that young man, and what I found was pretty interesting. So we'll do that tomorrow during the show. Also, I want to thank Alex Taubes, the attorney representing the Connecticut Examiner, with the trying to get the videotape released of J. Allen Jones's death inside the correction facility. Garner, I believe, is the correctional facility. Now let's get to some Hollywood news. Where the heck is my thing there? I can't find it. There it is. Hollywood news. It's Hollywood news with your correspondent, Reese on the radio. Now this one is interesting only because it shows how sad Hollywood has gotten. And the reason why I talk about Hollywood in the way that I do is because it is a medium in our lives that it's gone through some ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. And right now it's down. And as I was looking up Hollywood news, trying to find out new films that are coming out, I thought I'd find something interesting, but I didn't. What I found was dismay. Sad dismay. Hollywood is rapidly running out of ideas, and that means they're always going to go into the well of sequels. And here is a list of films that they are going to do sequels to. And I have to bring in my trusty Emmy Award-winning co-host and producer, Roland, in for this. I'm going to mention the movies, Roland, and you're going to tell me if you are interested in seeing any of them, because, your movie patterns are a little weird. They're all over the place. You will go to a movie I would think you wouldn't go to, and then not go to the one I expect you to. So I'm going to name a couple of these films and see whether or not you would actually see them. Yes, how about this one? Yes. Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
Yes.
You go see that?
I saw all three of them. You
did see all three. I hear Jim Carrey is making bank on these movies.
Oh, absolutely. He's making like $10 million on movies, something like that.
Goodness gracious. I mean, Jim Carrey doesn't have to work again. How about this one? Are you familiar with the Super Troopers franchise?
Oh, yeah. I remember the Super Troopers.
Okay. Well, they've had some films out.
I'm not interested, though.
Okay, this would be Super Troopers 3. What's your interest in this one? This one, I only remember it back in the day because it was so panned because they actually had Vanilla Ice in one of its films. But the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem 2. Would you see that?
Yes.
You would see that?
Triple yes.
Are you a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan?
I am. My whole life I've been.
Okay, so you grew up with them. I'm assuming that's
Raphael is my favorite.
Okay, fine. A horror genre that's doing really, really well is the production team of John Krasinski and his wife, Emily Blunt, have started this franchise called The Quiet Place. Part 3 is going to be coming out. Have you watched any of those?
I saw the first one. My brother-in-law, he loves anything horror. He's always ranting and raving about. So,
well, this genre or this franchise has been really successful, and so the third one is coming because I know the first one was A Quiet Place. Quiet Place 2, I think, was sort of like a prequel in a weird way, like talks about when the aliens first come, and then now this one's the 3. So when you're making that much money, you might as well. For the marijuana enthusiasts with munchies, they will like this. How about Harold and Kumar 4?
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know there was a 3.
I thought it was only two
so
movies.
did I. So apparently, Harold and Kumar.
And once again, I saw the first one.
Okay, I did see the first one. This one, I don't know why they keep making it, but then again, as Chub Rock once said, RoboCop last year was a shock. Apparently, RoboCop Returns is another one. They're going to do another sequel to the remake.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'll go see it.
Okay, you would see that RoboCop. This one is an interesting one because I hear, according to the call sheet, Will Smith is coming back for this movie.
Yes,
even though he died. It is I Am Legend 2. I Am Legend 2. Yeah, I know you're going to go see that.
Yeah.
Are you a Michael B. Jordan fan? Because I understand he's coming. He's going to be in this film.
Oh, is he the son? All grown up?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that he is going to be. Michael B. Jordan is in this film, so at least he's on the call sheet for this one. Last but not least, for those of you 80s folks, I had to leave this one last because I'm not going to lie. I'm going to the movies to see this, and I don't care how bad the critics say it is. I've got to see it. Too? No.
Oh, dang.
Okay, so this was a crossover in the cartoon world that every kid loved, even though it sucked. And they even made a comic book about it. Okay. It is none other than Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Oh.
Now, I don't know about you, but I'm going to see that.
Yeah, that's going to be super action-packed.
I mean, how do you not see that?
Yeah, you got to go see that.
If you were a kid who grew up in the 80s, to see that in live action, again, this is what I mean when I call a film a spectacle film. This is a spectacle film.
Did you see the G.I. Joe movies?
I did. I saw them with Channing Tatum and Dennis Quaid and all of them, even one with Marlon Wayans, which I thought was actually pretty good.
Those are good.
Yeah.
And I saw what was the spinoff, with my guy with the ninja.
Yes, the Snake Eyes film.
Snake Eyes,
yeah. So I've always, again, that particular era for cartoons and comic books was a great era, and who wouldn't want to see the Transformers and G.I. Joe sort of relive that? I know most of us are in our 50s.
I think they had to because people have gotten tired of the Transformer movies.
Yes.
So you kind of have to, if you want to extend that just a little bit more, you got to do something different.
Yeah, you got to make it interesting. And sure, and you know what? They kind of, from what I've always understood, they both kind of lived in the same universe in the cartoons. They just never really did
cross paths.
Yeah, they never crossed paths until they were forced to in the comic books, which everybody thought was great. It was one of the best sellers back in the days. And I think it was a Marvel. You
would have thought that they would always work together because it's like, G.I. Joe soldiers.
Sure.
You got the Transformers.
Yeah, Cobra's very much like Megatron. By the way, for those of you who are saying, who the hell are they talking about? Go back to your childhood. This is a very important time. Important time for the rest of us. That's all. Anyway, that's Hollywood news. Let's get to Frank in Woodbridge. How are you, sir?
Good. I always liked the Merrick Parkway. I'm in the minority because there are no trucks.
But do you not like? Listen, I don't know about you, but I kind of like room. And the Merritt Parkway has a lot of curves and turns, and it's so tight that if you're in a lot of traffic, it could be a little nerve-wracking, no?
Yeah, but I'm not in a hurry when I go anywhere.
Gotcha.
You guys are always in a hurry to go somewhere. And speaking of going somewhere, I told you this recently. Tuesday night, 4 weeks in paradise. We're leaving for Sicily. And I'll be back on October 1st. And I can't wait to get there. And I'll tell you why. The last two countries I've been in, America and Italy, I can't take it no more with these white women. I'm going to be on an island with the most beautiful women in the world when it comes to skin. That beautiful olive Italian dark skin. The only other woman who has better skin than them is the American black woman.
Now,
it'd be like I'm going home.
Can I tell you some good news when you get back home from Sicily?
What's that?
The good news is that yours truly and Roseanne will be living in Connecticut.
Where are you gonna be?
We got an apartment. Oh, no, I'm not giving my address. We got an apartment in Farmington. That's all I'm saying. We got a place in Farmington. I'm not going to give. You think I was going to give the damn address, Roland?
No.
I'll be living at 123 Smith Street. No, I would never give the address. But we did find a place in Farmington. Literally, I think we just got the application to fill out. No, it's not even that. We did the whole application thing, but we got to fill out some other forms. But yeah, we are out of here. Right now, we're going through the motions of what we're packing. We are going to be living in a shoebox, but what the hell?
Let me tell you before I go, the saddest thing about this country, you know what it is? Only 7% of the population in America are black women.
Get out. Okay, enough with you. Goodbye. Love you.
That's a crime. That's a shame.
That's okay. You'll be amongst your own. Have a good one. Enjoy the trip. None other than the guy who got me in trouble last time. Hasn't been here since. White Mike is on the line. What's going on, boss?
First of all, this dude who called before me, it's like he brags about liking the worst possible thing in the world.
Oh, I've got to cut you off. Stop it.
Like if he was picking MREs, he would say ham and lima beans are his favorite.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Ham and lima beans are the worst in an MRE?
Yes.
I'll have to ask Roseanne about that.
And it's like he's bragging about being obsessed with the thing that nobody... Jesus, even brothers don't obsess like this guy. Brothers run from black women.
Yeah, well, there has been a growing number of people online who have there's these argument podcasts where black women and black men are on there and they're arguing about their relationship. It's like this weird battle of the sexes that are going on where they're talking about why black men are choosing white women and these black women are all upset. And it's a crazy anyway. But you called about something else. What do you got?
I don't know. That was pretty good. But that list of movies you laid out,
yes,
makes me think that Hollywood thinks everybody is a retarded 9-year-old with ADD. That was horrible. There wasn't an actual film in that list.
Not even I Am Legend? I thought that was like critically acclaimed.
That's horrible. That movie was terrible because it totally changed the plot of the book.
Well, okay. First of all, I know so many people who are like that, anytime you deviate from the book, that's it. It's like, forget about it. The movie's over and it's trash and, never to be seen again. But how about this one? You didn't like The Quiet Place? You didn't think that was a...
No, I don't like. I think horror movies are absolutely stupid because 90% of them can be solved by one guy with a pistol.
Okay, fair enough.
Movies are stupid.
Oh, you know what I mentioned? Hold on.
Yes.
I forgot about one.
Yes.
You know what one I forgot on here? I didn't even realize we were up to this number. The Matrix 5 is on the list.
Oh, God, there's only one good Matrix movie. Everything else has been hot garbage. Those movies were never meant to be a series. They're meant to be one cool movie, and then Hollywood says, oi, let's make some more money, crank out some crap, and now the transgender Wachowski whatevers are just turning out garbage. That's all garbage.
Yeah,
all this Marvel crap is garbage. It's not for adults. Like, you and I are adults, and we fell for it, but it's for children.
Yes, it is.
People are acting like children's movies are high cinema. The only thing I'm looking forward to in the future is when Quentin Tarantino gets off his ass and makes his 10th movie. He's the only
But
one
that's it for him, right? After his 10th movie, he's done.
So he says, but, I'm sure he's going to get divorced and his Israeli wife will take him for a fortune, so he'll have to go back to work. But it's all terrible. That was the most depressing list of crap.
I know it was. Listen to me. When I read it, as soon as I was going through the list, apparently I found this website that has all of the lists with the call sheet and everybody who's going to be on it, if they have actors attached to it. As I'm going through the list, I'm just going, wow, these are like, why are these films being made? And they keep going through, as I'm going through more and more of them. I had to stop at like the third page, but I had all of these on there. So, Mike, before I let you go, if there was a good movie that you would make a sequel of, because you're like me, I believe you should never, ever touch a classic film. Just re-release it in theaters, and people will go. But
I don't want any sequels. There's no story I've seen.
Right.
I am kind of interested in seeing I think there's going to be a prequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
That's going to end up on Amazon. That sounds solid. But I'm just tired of it, man. Make a movie. How about a nice action movie with a tough guy hero who's going to save a girl from distress? Give us a hero's journey movie. Give us some more Arnold Schwarzenegger 80s style stuff, or strong heroes or anti-heroes. Not just comic book crap with bad CGI that costs $400 million.
So you must be outraged that they're redoing The Running Man, because I love the original.
Well, I will tell you, I have zero hope for it.
Antron.
While I like Glenn Powell, for
so do
some
I.
reason in this movie, they've decided his character's got to be more fleshed out and has an ugly black wife. I'm like, first of all,
I gotta go.
Glenn Powell's a dying piece. He could do better than that.
Yeah.
And secondly, I don't need to see his wife. It's not about his wife. It's about him surviving the game.
I cannot tell you how annoying it is to go through all of the stuff that I have to go through to move. I don't. And a mover. I'm a mover. I owned a moving company. But to have to do my own move, I hate it.
Hire a moving company.
No. No, I don't trust those people. Ironically. Sorry, I got to fix my chair again. You guys know what happened is we've been talking about it all day during the show. The shooting that took place at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. We do know that the shooter did identify as a transgender person. What I found crazy about all of this was the audio that I played earlier of the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends.
Yeah, he had all of that shouting at the rest of us who had done nothing wrong. But the moment that Mayor Jacob Frey found out that the shooter targeted children in that Catholic community, children, to take their lives. This is what Jacob Frey had to say.
All of us. And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity.
Where was all of that when you were shouting at us? You were condemning us for thoughts and prayers. All we gave was thoughts and prayers, and we got yelled at. Then you find out that the shooter identifies as transgender, and now, whoa. Everybody calm down. Don't start expressing hate. Spare me. I told you, folks. It's only going to take a minute. Let's get another check of weather and traffic with Bob Larson and Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we're back. About to get up out of here. Normally we would end with phone calls, but we had so many during the show. I've got to get into the Susan Campbell opinion piece tomorrow. Also, we got to talk about Bethel, Connecticut. And Bethel, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I talked about this a little bit, but now the news is covering it. And again, being ahead of the news cycle is what I do best. And this article is Bethel. Again, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. We'll talk about that as well. So Susan Campbell is talking about Trump's revenge tour on Connecticut. Bethel, even though they voted overwhelmingly for Kamala Harris, they clearly don't stand by her policies. That they definitely don't, without a doubt. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. And, of course, the curious case of Kevin Rosero Moreno of Meriden. We'll talk about that as well. Let me read this real quick because someone posted this in the chat room about the school, the Annunciation Catholic School, and I wanted to read this, and I believe that this is based upon fact. Let me read it verbatim here. Michael C. sent it about Annunciation. He says, this was a private school, and as such, they are responsible for their own security. But did you know that Minneapolis had a school resource officer program that was discontinued after George Floyd's death in 2020? As a part of the defund the police movement in Minneapolis, the contract the school system had with the police department to supply school resource officers to the school was allowed to expire. Now we have people like us asking, why are they not armed officers? Oh, goodness gracious. I'm sorry. I got pushed from it. Sorry. Why are they not school officers allowed inside the schools? The state of Minnesota has passed standards for schools to establish school resource officers, but they have yet to return to the I'm sorry, this is like flashing before me. Sorry. I just saw a comment that said it'd take the National Guard from D.C. and put them in schools. Yeah. So if that is true, that they allowed it to expire, it would be on course with Minneapolis and their defund the police movement, which, of course, we know that, what's his name, Tim Walz, is a part of that. Sit down, folks, because what I'm about to read to you from the New York Post is pretty damning when it comes to this shooter. Aside from the fact that the shooter recognizes themselves as a trans person, sorry, I don't know why this is happening to me. It's the second day in a row. Robin, who used to be Robert, talk about murdering filthy Zionists. That's what he wrote about. Westman is 23 years old, also wrote slogans such as Free Palestine. In a journal, he wrote in a Cyrillic alphabet, which the Post has translated. YouTube clips showing diary pages were posted online and since deleted by the channel. Quote, "If I will carry out a racially motivated attack, it would most likely be against the filthy Zionist Jews," he wrote in one disgusting entry, saying, quote, "I hate those entitled penny-sniffing expletives." The word begins with a K. Westman also wrote 6 million wasn't enough, a reference to the number of Jews, of course, who were Holocaust victims. On the side of the ammunition magazines he filmed before shooting the children at the Annunciation Catholic Church said things like "destroy HIAS," the Jewish Refugee Aid Group. He made other attacks on Jews as well as talking about the assassination of President Donald Trump. Now, to have someone like the mayor of Minneapolis talking about how we shouldn't say anything to this individual or to transgenders, let's do one better. Let's ask the transgender community, as a conservative would be asked, or a MAGA person would be asked, if this were January 6th all over again, do they denounce this? Because all of this, in fact, this person says that if they were going to take out a racial attack, they would against the Zionist Jews, but instead chose children that they, quote, said that they would enjoy doing. Now, CNN is doing everything it can to stay away from this because, again, it is not their preferred shooter. It's not. They are already referring to the individual as they, them. They are honoring the pronouns of the shooter, which shows you how pathetic they are. Like, we can't hemorrhage enough viewers. Let's be on the wrong side of this, too. Does the shooter refer to themselves as they, them? Well, we'll honor that. They, thems appear to be frustrated with Zionists and Catholics, probably because he believes that transgender individuals don't receive enough respect in the United States of America. Yeah, they'll say something like that. There'll be an argument about it. People will scream and holler, well, I don't agree with that. Everything that this person stands for is right in the wheelhouse of the Democrat Party. You can find anybody. You can throw a dart on a picture of everyone who is a Democrat, and they agree with some level of disgusting behavior by this person. You know they do. Free Palestine? Sure they do. Throw a dart. Hit anybody. Hakeem Jeffries, should they free Palestine? Of course he agrees. Huh? Of course he does. Do you believe that transgender people should have more rights than others? Well, I don't believe that they should have more rights, but I do believe that they are a protected class. That's the same thing, Hakeem. That's the same thing. A protected class means that would imply that the other groups aren't protected. That's what that means. Some people don't understand that, but, whatever. So it goes. But they're going to have to reconcile with this, as they do. Is this it? Is this CNN? Is this CNN not being able to figure out how to describe this individual?
So this is a video.
No, this is, I got to get to the fast forward to this part with Boris over at CNN. Let me see what he says here. Here he is.
Are continuing to follow the latest details about this shooter. Apparently, they targeted the Annunciation Catholic Church and school, specifically trying to barricade people inside as they shot through the windows. Police say an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old are dead. At least 2 kids right now in the hospital in critical condition.
It's got to keep calling them they. And that's it. That's all you need to know. It's a sad state of where we are, but it is where we are. People saying don't politicize it. What's CNN doing? What if CNN isn't politicizing it? What are they doing? Are they just trying to show respect to the person who shot kids? I don't know what you say to this nonsense. All of it is actually kind of sad to watch. Brandon writes, Reese, you need to get State Rep Chris Fishbein on. He tried to introduce legislation on stand your ground laws in public places like churches. Right now, people have a duty to retreat. Absolutely ridiculous. You can see a bunch of elderly people trying to escape. I will say this. I almost find it weird that that's a New England thing. It is weird that that's a New England thing. I don't think it's everywhere. But it is a very elite, liberal New England thing. Where, you just, let them get what they want. And I find that odd. Because I kind of think that people in New England are a little tougher than that. Michael C., there were not typos. While people are writing in the chat room, it kept refreshing, so I had to go back to it. It wasn't you, it was me. My apologies. I don't get these retreat folks because that's just not in the DNA of people anywhere. I know that there are some people, mealy mouth, chump types, punk types. Like that guy in Baltimore who started crying after they arrested the guy who was saying he wanted to stab his family and pregnant girlfriend. And to protect him, he called the police that this guy was threatening him. And then when he gets arrested, starts crying. I didn't want him to get arrested. Now he's going to think that I'm racist. Well, if that's the case, bozo, just let him take out the family. And still not getting it. Someone's going to have to explain it to me. I think the embarrassment is so real that they'll never explain it to me. I don't see one person explaining that to me. Even those on the left who think that I'm a jerk for making fun of the guy, they won't even stand up for him. It takes a special type of chump to do that. Him being more concerned about his, racial standing in the world than protecting his family. No, sir, go on in. Have at it. Take whatever you want. I was getting a little bored with that flat screen TV anyway. It's time to buy a new one. No, you take it, disenfranchised soul. Perhaps you'd like to take the pickup truck so you can carry around my stuff that you've stolen from my home. Oh, that's okay. My insurance will cover it. Yes. I understand. Again, this all goes back to the whole original thing about law enforcement and these politicians. They think that law enforcement is bad. Because I wish they would just, they can't say it, but I wish they would. I wish Chris Murphy, I wish Lamont, A.G. Tong, I wish they would say the racist, bigoted thing out loud. I wish they would just look me in the eye and they'd just go, look, Reese, come on, man, crime is just a thing they do. We can't just go on arresting them all the time. How are we going to take care of them if we don't at least, kind of let them slide? I wish they would just say it. I know that's what they think. I know they do. Sounds horrible, but I know they think it. Oh, look at them. Never going to get ahead. We got to cut them some slack. We'll just cut them some slack as often as we can. We won't punish them too harshly. We don't want to disenfranchise them any further. Ugh. I wish they'd just say it. Cowards, all of them. But I know they think it. Don't get me wrong. I don't need them to tell me. I know that's what they think. There's a lot of people who are listening to this show think it too. You know who you are. We'll be back tomorrow. Is tomorrow Thursday? Oh, yes, it is. Tomorrow's Thursday. You know what that means, folks. Negro Nonsense. We will be back with Negro Nonsense. It's been a while. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. He is Mark Christopher, and he's getting you home and avoiding the Merritt Parkway and the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Now, it was called the Work Progress Administration. That created jobs for all the high unemployment during the Great Depression. That's when the Merritt Parkway was built. And it's interesting, the Work Progress Administration started in 1935. It ended in 1943, an actual government program that actually ended. Pretty amazing.
Wow. Wait, hold this. Why did they call it the Merritt, though?
Oh, I'll have to research that over.
Okay, all right, I'll research it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good night,
I know
Mark.
the Wilbur Cross was the former governor of Connecticut, but the Merritt, I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
You got it.
Hey, Reese, have a great night. If you're heading into Hartford, westbound 84 delays, approaching the Bulkey Bridge out to 45, eastbound 84.
All right, good sir.
Thank you, sir.
Avenue into the tunnel. 91 southbound, a little slow, 33 down to 32
okay.
A&B.
I will see you manana. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
91 south in Meriden. If you are traveling in to 291 through, I should say 291.
Okay, quick Google search gave me the following 6 states with stand your ground laws 2023. As of mid-2025, the number of states are Puerto Rico. Really? What? What was that? 28 states and Puerto Rico. Huh, that's crazy. Thank you, Michael A. I appreciate you. Lori says, quick as 4 hours. Yeah, I feel like that too. Thank you, Raymond. And we will see you mañana, and we'll get it all together. But stay tuned for tomorrow's show. We got to do Kevin Rosero Moreno, as well as the folks over in Bethel. These are great stories I got to get into. All right, I love you guys. Stay good to each other, and we'll see you mañana.